Good afternoon, y'all. This is Sunday afternoon, and you probably won't see this video till Monday morning when I get it uploaded. Or it may not even be Monday, it may be Tuesday, because I'm going to dehydrate some cucumber chips. And as you know, if I put them on now, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon or evening before they're dehydrated. So it might be Tuesday by the time you see this. But anyway, I've got two big Daddy dill pickles. I'm going to start with this big one because it was getting so big it was turning yellow. And I'm just going to peel it a little bit. I don't want all those peelings on it, because I'm afraid it might make it tough when they dehydrate. I'm peeling them just as thin as I can. I mean, you could probably leave the peeling on them if you wanted to. They dehydrate just like everything else. But I'd kind of like to have them peeled. But this is a big, long cucumber. If I had enough of them planted and had enough of them coming in, I'd probably pickle them. But, you know, I only get one once in a while. So I usually just cut it up in a salad, or, you know, this big one, I'm going to do this with it. I'm going to try my slicer. I've had this vegetable slicer for a long time, and I'm going to try it and see how it works. But I wanted to show you this is some of my squash and zucchini chips that I dehydrated about a week or so ago, and I just store them in an airtight Ziploc bag, and they keep just like regular potato chips. I mean, you can freeze them, but I'd rather just eat them like this, you know, not store them long term to where I freeze them. But anyway, I've got this vegetable slicer that I'm going to try using on this. Now, I'm not sure how I got the setting on it, and I don't know, maybe I'm not sure which way to to set this. But you need to put it in something. And they're pretty thin. They probably don't even have to be that thin. Let's see. I know you're supposed to be able to adjust the height of it. Let's try that, because I don't want them too thin. By the time they dehydrate, there's not going to be anything left. So I want them and you can see it slices really good. Yeah, I think that's gonna work really good right there. I need to get some of them out of there. Yeah, I think I've got it on number 3 setting. But you got to be careful with this because it does cut easy. and you can cut your fingers really easy with it. I mean, you don't even have to push on it and it slices. I'm going to do this number. I'd rather it cut the but you do need it in a tray of some kind. Now I'm going to come over here and get my dehydrator trays. And I'm just going to fill one tray up at the time. Yeah, I cut my squash and zucchini a little bit too thin, that it would have worked better if I'd have left them just a little bit thicker. Because, I mean, some of them were paper thin, and I didn't quite want them that thin. And you know what? I was going to put well, I'll sprinkle some on there when I get them all in here. I was going to put garlic salt on them, and that's all I'm going to season these with is garlic salt, just a little bit of garlic salt. You can put a lot of different seasonings on them. I got my garlic salt here. I'm not going to go too heavy with it. I'm just going to salt one side. I just want a little bit of seasoning, not much. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it on my dehydrator. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and see if I can fill another tray. And I got the other cucumber over here. And I might try this little one with the peeling on it. Cutting my chips a little bit smaller because, you know, it's smaller around, it's not very big. But I found if you cut them too thin, by the time they dehydrate, they're stuck to the grid, and sometimes when you take them off, they break. Like I said, you got to be careful of your fingers with this kind of cutter. It is super sharp. Whoop. It is super sharp. And I wanted to save a couple of these slices for a salad. So I'm just going to put a couple of slices in my cup here. Because I'm going to eat a salad for dinner, I think. I ate that piece. Well, you know what? It's going to take this other cucumber, the whole thing, to finish out this tray. So I'll just go ahead and do that. I might can find another cucumber in the garden for my salad. But I just want a hint of garlic and salt on there. I don't want them too salty. Y'all, I don't know what the temperature is outside, but I'll tell you what, it is extremely hot. Extremely hot. Now, I got me a couple more cucumbers, but I think I'm going to save especially a little one for my salad. But I can get a couple more slices out of these little ones. I had a really big one of the deals the other day, and it got too big on me, so I had to put it in the compost bin. And I wished I'd have just sliced it up and put it in this. So, you know, dehydrated it. Because if you catch them soon enough, even though they turn a little yellow, they're still good cucumbers if you go ahead and eat them right away. But if you leave them, they're going to dry out, and they're not going to be any good anymore. And the more yellow they get, the harder their seeds are. Try to pick them when your cucumbers are still green. The peelings are nice and green. Because the more yellow they get, like I said, the more dry they are. And the seeds will get really hard. But I got a few more on there. Now I'm also, look, I got one stuck. I'm going to try a slice of tomato. I didn't peel it, so I might do better just by slicing it like this. Because I don't want it too thin. It'll dehydrate to nothing. But you can dehydrate your tomatoes like this and store them in a jar or something, or a Ziploc bag, and then put them in soups or anything else you want to put them in. Anything that calls for tomatoes, you can put these in, especially soups. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and slice it with my knife, because I don't want them too thin, because if you get them too thin, they're going to dehydrate to nothing. I mean, you don't need to get them paper thin. That looks like a good BLT right there. And don't be afraid to get them close together, because they will dehydrate still. They will still dehydrate. That is if you dehydrate them and they last long enough to go in a soup or something. They taste so good after they've been kind of salted down, especially with garlic, a little bit of garlic salt, that they're good just to eat like chips, dehydrated chips or dehydrated tomatoes. And it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of garlic salt on your tomatoes, even if you dehydrate them to put them in a soup or something, because you end up putting garlic and salt in your soup anyway. So I got 3 trays going there. I've never tried dehydrating the little grape tomatoes or the cherry tomatoes, but I might try those too and just see. These are Roma tomatoes. It's starting to get too hot on my tomatoes, y'all. So I don't know how much longer I'll be getting tomatoes until the weather cools off, because it's going to be up in the hundreds this coming week. And tomatoes don't like 100-degree temperatures. That's one big reason I've got my shade cloth up out there. A lot of your garden vegetables don't like 100-degree temperatures out in that hot sun. It cooks the plant. I brought in a few almost green Romas. They just started to turn, but they're ripe enough that I can dehydrate them. See the inside? So I figure I've got the dehydrator going anyway. Why not dehydrate these tomatoes? That one had a little bit of a bad spot on it, but it's still a good tomato, so. And I'm cutting them to about 1/4 of an inch thick. Because like I said, I don't want them too thin. And like these little cherry tomatoes, the Jubilee, the Golden Jubilee cherry tomatoes, I'm just cutting those in half. Got another couple of tomatoes here that I had too. I got a bunch more grape tomatoes and these little Golden Jubilee tomatoes, but y'all, it's too hot out there to even pick them right now. I think these little bitty ones are gonna I think they'll end up looking like a raisin by the time they're dehydrated. was hoping to at least get this one pan, or one tray, not pan. Almost got a and you know what? I've never done an onion. Maybe I'll fill up the rest of this tray with an onion and see how the onion works. Because I've never tried to dehydrate onions before. But that's another option if you got tons and tons of onions coming in your garden. You can dehydrate them. Again, just don't cut them so thin that they dehydrate to nothing. Because you can use dehydrated onions in recipes. And it's a lot easier to slice them up and put them on a tray and dehydrate them than it is to can them. I mean, I don't know of any other way to do them unless it would be to, I don't know. I don't know of anybody that's ever canned onions. So I don't know of any other way to do them other than dehydrate them. I mean, you could freeze them, I guess. And then I'm going to put a little bit of garlic, salt even on my onions. And now you can dehydrate your onion tops, the green tops, just like you do your basil and your parsley and anything else. If you got the patience to wait for it to dehydrate. Like I said, I've got a bunch of basil out there right now that needs to be dehydrated. I've got one more tray. And I don't know if I want to put another tomato on it, or I might could do that. I might put this one on there. This is one of my celebrities. It's not going to fill the tray up, but like I said, you can do them this way, and then you can so like a green piece in there. But like I said, you can dehydrate your tomatoes and then put them in a recipe later. I'm going to cut that bottom end off. Ooh. I'm going to leave that little cucumber and those little few tomatoes, and I'm going to put them in a salad later. If not tonight, maybe tomorrow. You know, I was thinking too, I might cook a pot of rice, because I do have I do have a little bit of my shrimp gumbo in the refrigerator. It froze. So I know it's good. That's the good thing about your refrigerator freezing in places. Is your food stays fresh longer. I don't usually worry about anything spoiling in the bottom of my refrigerator, because if it's in there more than a couple of days, it freezes. So I know it's still good. But now I'm going to put that on. It's on about 115, no, it's on about 115 Fahrenheit. And I think that's going to be plenty hot enough to leave these and let them dehydrate at least overnight until this time tomorrow. Still had a couple of thin cucumbers trapped in there. You see, there's many different blades in here. You can make like French fries with this slicer. Put it on the right setting and it will actually cut your French fries for you. And then it's got these other slicing blades. I'm going to go ahead and rinse those off even though I didn't use them. And this one's too. I've never used these crinkle cut ones. I'm not sure how they even work. One of these days I need to find out. But it's just that simple to fill your dehydrator up. Next time I'm going to put some basil in there, I think, and some rosemary. And go ahead and get some of that dehydrated. And I got to get all this stuff into the compost. All of this down here. You know what? I can just put it in this pan and take the pan outside. Because look at all that that's going to go in the compost. That is the best compost fixings that you can ever put outside in your pile. Woo! Scorpion. And I had it in my hand. Oh my God. I want to show y'all. I got a scorpion. Well, y'all, I think it's time to check this dehydrator. It's been going long enough. I can turn the noise maker off. I intended to do this earlier today, but I had so much to do, I just didn't get a chance to do this, so. Back a little bit. Yeah, I got computers on my table and all kind of stuff. I've been working on computers and working in the garden, doing all kind of stuff today. But as you know, we had put cucumbers, which that's the first tray, and they have dried pretty good. They're like little cucumber chips, basically the consistency of a potato chip, because if you bend them they will break. I mean, you see that right there. I hope you can see it. Yeah, they come off of the rack a whole lot better if you leave them a little thicker, because they dry into nothing. That way they don't completely break up when you take them off. I mean, there's 2 cucumber chips right there. And they're still warm because they, you know, that dehydrator's been going. But it didn't heat the house up because I had it on the stove with that exhaust fan going, so it pulled all that hot air right outside. So thank goodness it didn't heat the house up. Still got 1 or 2 places that stuck, but that was because it was real thin at one end. But for the most part, they're coming off pretty good. That's that one tray. And these are more cucumbers. Now this one was real thin, so it's breaking up. Yeah, leave them at least 1/4 of an inch thick to dehydrate them into chips, because they'll dehydrate down to real thin even at 1/4 of an inch. Anything thinner than that, and you've got like wet paper, it's going to come apart. Oh, that faucet is going to drive me crazy. Yeah, they've been going longer than 24 hours because, you know, I put them on in the afternoon, and I planned on getting them out this afternoon, and I just got busy. But it doesn't hurt to leave them a while longer. I mean, they're not gonna, it's not gonna ruin if you leave them a few hours longer. They'll still be okay. And I'm under this light, which I hate. I hate being under this light like this. But, you know, in my kitchen, I'm limited with my space. I'm limited where I can do anything. Here's another tray. Got a few more cucumbers. And these, I don't know, the seeds in these may be a little bit hard because that was that last cucumber I brought in. You don't want the seeds inside to be hard to begin with because the seeds don't eat well dehydrated. Whoops. Now there's all my, oh, my onions. Look at the onions, y'all. They did real good. Give me another bowl or something here to put my tomatoes in. But there's my dish of dehydrated cucumber chips. Gotta try one. And there's my tomato chips, dehydrated tomatoes. You can see them right there. See that? And even then, you want to get them at least a quarter of an inch, no thinner than a quarter of an inch to dehydrate tomato slices. Because if you do, they're going to be too thin. And when you try to get them off the tray, they're going to break. So you want them to stay together like that. And the onions too. I'm going to go ahead and put the onions in with my tomatoes. I have got a ton of little grape tomatoes out there that I need to pick and do something with. I may make some kind of sauce with them. Maybe make a pizza sauce and make a pizza. I'm ready for a pizza, y'all. Yeah, here's the little onions. They dehydrated real well. It tastes pretty good too. And here's a little grape tomatoes. Look how tiny they are. But they work. Tastes pretty good. See the little grape tomatoes, when you turn them in half and dehydrate them, they come out almost the size of a huge grape raisin. Well, that's okay. You can still eat them or put them in soup. Or eat them as a snack, just like you would a potato chip. And here was these last biggest slices of the tomato. I'm going to go ahead and wash my tray out with the dehydrator. But if you happen to grow seedless grapes, you could dehydrate your grapes. Make your own raisins, I guess. It's fairly an easy cleanup because there's not much of the tomato juice that dripped down in here. There is a little, but not much. And it comes right out. There, the dehydrator's clean. I just have to clean the shelf, the racks now. But like I said, you can put them in baggies. And I don't even have to write on the bag. I know what it is. Or you can put them in jars. Some people put them in jars. In airtight jars. Let's see. See if I got one. Yeah, like this. That's plenty big enough to put the tomatoes in. I'll put my few little onions in there at the same, right with my tomatoes. I think they'll all go in there. Oops. I should have got me a bigger jar. I think they'll go in there. Put the little ones in there first. They'll go down between some of the other ones. I got the big one on top. And I had pickled onions on the lid. But I know those aren't pickled onions. Those are... I mean, I don't think that's the right lid. Yeah, there it goes. But there I go. I got a pint jar of dehydrated tomatoes. And I'm just going to put the cucumber chips in the bag, I think. I wonder how cucumber chips would work to put them in your salad like croutons, since they're dried. Eat them like croutons and put them in your salad. I think I might try that when I fix the salad tomorrow. I don't know if they would get soggy once they got wet with the dressing and stuff. But we might find out. I might just see. Because I'm not going to cook cucumbers in anything. Dehydrated cucumbers. But they might work in a salad like a crouton. So there you go. I got me a little jar of dehydrated tomatoes with onions. And I got cucumber chips right here. It's just that easy, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up with this video, and I'm going to add it to the other one. But yeah, go ahead and dehydrate some stuff. Don't lose the stuff in your garden because you don't want to can it or freeze it, or maybe you run out of room to freeze it. Maybe you're tired of canning. We'll just dehydrate it and throw it in a jar. Love y'all. See you back next time.